Welcome back all. It's Alright, hopefully that's even better sound. So welcome back everyone. Just remembering how to do my actual setup. Turns out, despite doing this pretty much every day for the last couple of weeks, I still forget simple things like turning on the microphone on my my magnifier. Hope everyone is well. Mr. Landfill, pleasure to have you back. So what we're doing today, having had a bit of a mixed bag over the last few days, and I've still not finished the other one. So that was the one we started yesterday. It still needs a finish on this. I had a suggestion in my comments on the video about a way to do that better, which has a wire brush on the Dremel. I've stopped doing it, and we'll have a look at doing that with wire brush. So that one needs to still be finished, but we'll do something simple. I'm going to say simple in theory. We've got a Hyundai. So for those who don't know, ammonites have distinct keels or venters. So the venter is just the general top over the edge of the ammonite. Some ammonites have keels on them, which is a raised section. Some have not got anything like that. So Dax and Paranoceros, for example, just grabbed a Paranoceros. They don't have a distinct raised section over the top of their venter. Hildies are a bit wonky. They're very distinct. Several other species of ammonites have similar ones, but not really upper lias things. So what you see is sort of a raised section, a valley, a raised section, a valley, and then a raised section. That's kind of how it goes across, and it makes this very distinct sort of M shape when you see it. It's tough to explain it until you see it, and once you see it, it's really, really distinct. And so that's a Hildoceros in there from Ravenscar. So this is what I'm going to have a look at today. Whilst it's mostly already out on this side, I think with the damage here, will be better if we come at it from the other side. So I will have a look at doing that. So yeah, that's the goal. We'll see what's what. Hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult. Hildies on a good day tend to prep fairly cleanly because they don't have super defined ribs, and so the matrix tends to pop off them. I'm saying all of this, thus either jinxing it or making the prophecy come true. We'll have to see which one is which. But without further ado, let's get prepping. Yeah, no worries, Shirley. If you're not around, I do appreciate you just showing up anyway. Yeah, we live in hope that the Hildy is decent. If you ever want to find one yourself, I still reckon the best place is Ravenscar for them, just because I think you get a diversity of them, so you get all three species there, but also it's not as heavily picked, and so you tend to find a lot of smaller ones like this one, which is from Ravenscar as well. But if you want a big one, then your best bets I still think are probably at Saltwick, and it's just luck of the draw being there when ones fall out the cliff. But I've got my big ones. I think three of my four big ones have come from Saltwick, one from Port, and then I've got a few decent sized ones from Ravenscar that need looking at, and a few decent sized ones that need prepping from Hosker and Saltwick. But Saltwick itself is still, yeah, my suggestion if you're ever looking for one. I have got one that is properly dinner plate size, but it's not well preserved, sadly, from Saltwick, that needs looking at too. I also got your email. I'll get some stuff sent to you shortly, so thank you for offering. Yeah, apologies for a short stop there. I just got attacked by a small child who's escaped from his mum, who's just about to take him off to swimming. But little boy came charging in, and so I had to stop for a second. Really annoying that. So the shell has been staying on really nicely, and then one little fragment has just come off right in there, and I'm not sure I can put that back on even if I wanted to, which is a shame, but yeah, I guess there's a few more bits that are missing just in here, but we'll see. But it's looking alright. The way to tell the different Hildas apart is based on their lateral groove. In general, there's two different main types that you get across the Yorkshire coast. There's the Bifrons and the Lusitanicum. Bifrons has a deeper groove. Lusitanicum's groove basically is non-existent, and then at Ravenscar you have a semi-polytum, which has a bit of a groove, but it's not quite the same. So we will see when we get there. Yeah, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Yeah, it's a shame that the shell's not going to stay on, but it is what it is. Can also tell now that the whirl, I can tell, I'm pretty sure the whirl is, oh, in fact I know. So the ribs curve forward. They don't go all the way to the midline, so they're sort of S-shaped or C-shaped depending on your point of view. So this will be whirling into the middle, this will be coming out. Based on the fact it doesn't seem to come all the way to this edge, I'm expecting it to end somewhere in here, but we'll just have to keep exploring. Oh, turns out I need to keep an eye on this screen. So yeah, as I said, this edge is going to be whirling inwards, this edge is going to be coming out, and so yeah, I expect its mouth border to be somewhere in the middle of this mess that I'm busy exposing, but we'll see. Thanks for just keeping an eye on. I do realize sometimes it's just normally a bit slow catching up with it, but yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, glad I didn't stress too much about it. It looks like this area in general, so this is a little bit that popped off, and so you can see the super pyritic nature of it, but as we're prepping, a lot of this section's coming away too, and I don't know if that's just because of the fact that a lot of this is the worn outer edge, but as it gets to where it was going in, water may have just seeped into that and just been trapped in there, so I think it may well be why it's coming apart. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I really love the shell when it stays on, but at the same time, when the shell comes off, you get the suture patterns, and the sutures in some are really stunning. Depending on how we get on with this, which I'm hoping shouldn't take too much longer, we're going to have a quick look at this. And I apologise for the knocking noises in the background. It's a loose piece of wood on the shed in the wind, but you might see on the body chamber here, or at least the chamber, you might see some little leafy shapes. And there are some lovely suture lines running along in between all the ribs, and so we'll have a look at cleaning this off, because yeah, the sutures are really lovely. Even if this ammonite is incredibly badly worn, this Perrinoceros, you do get some fabulous fabulous sutures on some of them, so it's not the end of the world. It's just nice to keep it one way or other, but not going to win them all, and sometimes they do what they want to do, so be it. Sorry, just being attacked again by a small child. You are supposed to be swimming, little boy. You are not swimming. Ah, yeah, you tell them. You tell them that they are not doing their job. Ah. You telling mummy? Yeah. Ah, so you see yourself. Right, little boy. Yeah, definitely not complaining about being attacked by the small boy when he's in a happy little mood. His big smiley face comes out to say hello. Hey?
You say bye-bye, Daddy.
No, you don't say goodbye.
Oh, you're waving.
You waving?
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Daddy.
Right. Yeah, he's off. I'm looking forward to being able to take him out on the coast, see how good his eyes are at finding fossils, and inevitably he'll find better things than me, but I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, just having another annoying little moment. This is where I'm just being a little too fast for my own good. Trying to just remove a little bit of matrix on this corner, and in doing so it's popped a bit of shell off, and annoyingly it's popped more than one little tiny fragment, so that's the bit that goes back on, but there's a little gap where I've not got a little bit. That is frustrating. Yeah, that one goes back in fine, but God knows where that little tiny piece is. Oh man. If you see it, you've done really well, because yeah, we're playing with, what is it, less than 2 mil? I'd say it's even smaller than the tip of the chisel, the bit that's missing. And I imagine probably on another little piece of rock it's pinged off somewhere, or possibly in lots of little fragments that are just dust now, which is not uncommon, unfortunately. When it decides to go, it really does go. But yeah, it's not well. So the joys of Hildies is they pop really cleanly, as we saw for a big chunk of this. The downside is when they stop going cleanly, it starts becoming really messy. So this one's got super pyritic all of a sudden, and very sticky in some places. So as demonstrated by that little bit that didn't want to come off on its own. There's a section here that's for some reason not popped, which makes me think there may be a hole here. So yeah, we'll switch over from the chisel to a standard little point, but yeah, frustrating. I probably should put that to the side for 1 second. I'm just going to see if I can pop the top off of this thing fairly quickly, just whilst I've got the chisel tip on. Like so. Yeah. It's not bad when they do that, hey? Just a tiny bit, just to tease off there. And yeah, that's done. It's hilarious when you get one that does this, that pops pretty much perfectly without any effort whatsoever, and then your other one is like that. Yeah, there's still a little bit of mid in here as well, actually, to try and see if we can tease out. Don't know if it will, but we'll see. Yeah, let's try and get this one done first. Yeah, just going to swap tips over and yeah, see what we can do. And there is a level that I'm still trying to figure out of things that, when they go wrong, how much is my fault, how much is that fossils are just going to do that, and how much is it something that actually matters. And I am probably on the perfectionist end of things and would rather things be perfect, but I also appreciate the time and effort that goes into trying to make things look as good as some preparators do. But it's then a question of what is an acceptable level to be selling to people, and the level I would like to be at is my perfection level. But I also understand that's a very real challenge to get to that, and you're looking at tens of thousands of hours of skill and dedication and tools and all the rest. Yeah. I love when they pop off and you get the negative. Yeah, so it's one of my favorite things. I've got my favorite one that I'm going to add to the website soon, which, yeah, one that I've had to do absolutely nothing to. They are just stunning things when they pop perfectly. And yeah, that was another Hildy off of Ravenscar. And just could see that again, that very distinct bit of keel. And then yeah, one tap and then pop. So yeah, that'll be on the website at some point. That's about as nice as they'll get with a single tap for there. And then one that needs a little bit of tidying, had not quite as nice, but again, a single tap for a bit of an ugly nodule. This one was more obvious. You can see very distinct bits of ammonite sticking out, but again, yeah, they are lovely when they do that. And yeah, pretty things. I do love them, and Hildies in particular. I think everyone loves a good Hildy. So yeah, they are beautiful things. I do, like you, Mr. Landfill, love when they are popping cleanly. So yeah, I am slowly working through the piles and piles of things, because there's an awful lot that are, I would say, done or nearly done, that just need to sit down and grind them and finish them properly. But there's like those like that which just need a bit of varnish and chuck them on the website, and I just need to sit down and do it. But as you can tell by how fast I got them, they are at hand, getting ready to be done, so we'll get there. Right, in all of that, we seem to be dry. Good. So yeah, we will get back to having a play. And I'm really glad I didn't spend too long trying to fight over that little piece of shell there, because basically this middle section is just peeling off at a crazy rate. But as it's peeling off, it's taking the matrix with it, so I can't complain too much. But the matrix has gone super sticky through some of these sections. For whatever reason, just obviously pyrite filled. So it's going. We've got follow this around to see if we can get to a middle, if there is one. Always a question, as everyone has seen. And then, excuse me, to ID the ammonite. One of the other indicators of what the species is if you have a look at these ribs. So I only use the outer world because it's fairly easy to see. So you've got a rib that comes out, comes to this lateral groove, as it's called, and then you've got a section before it drops down into the umbilicus, so towards the middle, kind of like, think of our navels, our belly buttons. So that section there. But what you can see, full rib before the groove. As you go in on this one, the amount of rib that you can see, and I appreciate this might be tricky to see, you can see there's only a little partial bit of rib here before you get to the groove, and that should get less and less, actually, I'd expect, as we go in which case that's one of the semi-polytums, which is the Raven's Car Hildoceras. That doesn't happen anywhere near as much in the Lusitanicum or bifrons, and so that's the way you can tell if it's one of the Raven's Car ones, is just keeping an eye on how they whirl. And basically the reason that happens is the outer whorl basically overgrows more of those inner whorls on this species. The opposite of involute, that's the one where they basically whirl over themselves. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's going reasonably well. Got tidying to still do up here, tidying through this little bit of whirl here and then right into the middle. But it's going okay. I was concerned this bit is a hole. It's just a bit missing. It's in roughly the usual spot that everyone says predation, so near the end of the body chamber before you get to the first proper segments. We can actually see some of the sutures that I talked about, or hopefully you can. Whoop. We get centered, there you go. So one there, one there, one there, one there, and you can see that as you go around underneath the shell. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the body chamber, so it's about the usual spot. Everyone always says that if something nibbles you there, you release the animal that's trapped within this and you can get it out. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to switch over the tips to the 1.5mm to do some fine work. I will try and keep it in frame, but as per usual, as I somewhat feel obliged to say at this point that Mr. Landfill will probably also then say is that if I do drift off with the fossil to the bottom of your screen, it's because my magnifier is towards the bottom of the screen, and so I'm just looking at it under heavy magnification just to try not to clip the fossil too much, but it sometimes does mean that you don't need the zoom, we need to just adjust, so I'll bring you preemptively that way. I do also like the thing, if you look away from your screen when it's just sat on the table at certain points, it sometimes inverts in my brain, so I think sometimes I'm looking at the negative rather than the positive. There you go, Mr. Landfill had it ready to go. Yeah, there's actually a really funny quirk about it with the lighting. It's quite easy to do if you get a light, get your ammonite, and shine a light from that direction, and you'll see the shadows it casts is what your brain expects. But if you then shine a light from the opposite way, it tends to produce shadows that go the other way, and your brain then flips everything over. It's really funky, but it's also why there's like a standardized way to take photos for journal articles and books and stuff is lighting always from sort of top left, and for some reason that's the way that we just have developed our brain to say that that's the correct way around. But yeah, you get your light from the other direction, it makes it appear flipped over, especially on a flat image. It's yeah, the fun quirk of how our brains are processing data, especially flat data, and trying to make it 3D in our brains. It's fun. So, where are we up to? It's pretty close to done. At least the rough version of done. So it looks like a fairly complete mouth border. This all needs smoothing and dropping a fair bit. Decision about seeing if we can make it stand, which I think might be worth trying. Annoyingly, don't have a saw or anything, but can flatten that off with the not the Dremel, with the air pen. Get a chisel, just flatten across the bottom. Need to go across the bottom of this and try and follow this keel all the way around will be the goal. At least on this side, I think it'll look good. This side, we'll see, because you need to dig out mouth border and all the rest. So there's quite a lot to still do. We can start on it now, but yeah, as I say, I'll be chiseling out a lot of this and this here, and then there'll be a bit of fine work back and forth, just trying to get this reasonable. I won't do the grinding on cam, but that's what my next little bit will be. I've ordered a new blower to at least hopefully help when I'm doing grinding, to get all of the material off, because I don't know if you remember, I had an interesting challenge with grinding on stream previously, where I just couldn't get the material to move away from where I was grinding it. Even with an air pen, it just didn't do quite enough. So I bought a little tiny compressed air. Well, I say compressed air, it uses the compressed air to basically clear off everything that's here. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, we'll flatten. I don't know about all of this. This might get flattened that way to make it roughly flat base, or at least a slope base, but I'm not sure this will ever find a natural way to stand up. I think it'll be too heavy at the back, so maybe yeah, I may just knock this whole thing off actually, just because I think it'll sit reasonably well, kind of like that. It doesn't need this bit here. It sits on the little ridge on the back of it, so I think if we take this off, it'll sit a bit nicer. So yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what level of skill you have. I mean, what I would consider my final prep stages, there's still a fair bit to do, but it's the relatively final. If you're one of the really experienced prep guys, this is still not even at the roughed out stage. The roughed out stage would be all of this flattened and at least roughly ground already. Their final stage is, yeah, like really very little to do. But I'm not far from where I'm going to be done with it. But it's just a little bit of time just to tidy things up for me. have fairly seriously brutalized the matrix at least. So you can see how much has come away. I'm still sat at two minds whether or not to just fully just knock this edge off or not. And I don't have a great answer for which one I'm going to go with yet. I quite like the fact it balances quite nicely, just sat there. Whereas if I take it off, it may not sit, but although it may. Yeah, I'm not sure. It probably will come off just because I think it'll look tidier, get that edge just revealed. But just taking a bit of time just to figure out what I'm doing with it. Yeah, hey Char, welcome back. Yeah, I would say we've gone quite a long way. Just done a fairly brutal matrix trim, as you can probably tell. Removed all of that edge. What I will do now is try and track the at least the top whorl to the midline. I think realistically the better way would be to do both, like to do the whole bit of keel all the way across to the underneath of this edge here. But that'll take a bit longer, so kind of just that never-ending game of what is the correct way to do it. I think that is the correct way, and I think then you do the full mouth border. And you can leave the little cap on the back, but we're getting very close to it. If we're not careful, we're doing the whole damn thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I think for now, I will just chase midline keel and that little groove on the side all the way along. But that's just going to be another quick change of the tips and a quick change of the air pressure, because that last one was about as high as I can run the pen at without without risking damaging the pen. But then you can see how powerful it is. It's one of the joys of the Maya, is it's a good tool for doing pretty much everything. But obviously it's got limits on the upper end and the lower end for being perfect. So the bonus ammonite. Oh yeah, whilst we were waiting for some glue to dry, I showed off this one, which is a Perrinoceros species. I think it's Fibulatum, just based on the fact that all the ribs have that lovely looping on them. But I need to double check. I am really rubbish with my Perrinoceros species, but yeah, there's lots of nodes. They've got lovely looped ribs with a node on the end of each one of them. It popped a tree off of that one, and yeah, so that was that, however it was. So yeah, that just needs a little bit of a tidy, which I will do at some point. So yeah, that's the other thing that happened today, and I showed off stupid wind blowing things. Oh, yeah. I showed off the bonus Hildy to just upset everyone, the one that's just sat waiting for me to do something with it. But yeah, that's the other one that's just sat. That again, I seem to sometimes be better prepping with just a hammer than I am with the tools. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I did a little bit more on that Gramo that is part of that big block. I just took off this edge here, so as you can see, it needs a final tidy up. But it's such a beautiful Gramoceros. It's about as nice as they get on that horrible block that I spent far too long. That still makes that smiley face at everyone, or sad face, depending on your way around it's looking at you. So yeah, lots of bits have been done over the last little bit, but yeah, just for the stream, it's yeah, just gonna finish this at least midline up, and then see if we've got the very tip of the mouth border. So I'd expect, so you can hopefully see it comes up, goes around, and it comes up, and then it should come to about here, and I think it does, but we'll just see. And then it becomes very fragile, so we'll have to be a bit careful with it, even if we don't prep all of the matrix away on that area, just to keep that in place. It's quite nice when the little pokey out bit, I don't know, it's probably got a correct term, I can't remember what it is, stays in place. So we'll see what we can do. Well, I've just done a whole explanation. Apologies, it's been muted the whole time. Good question on the is it the original shell? So where you can see the brown, hopefully you can see it fairly clearly on your screens. The brown is the original shell. Sometimes it gets replaced from, and I might be wrong on this, but I believe ammonites are calcium carbonate based rather than aragonite, which is the other variant of calcium carbonate which makes up the shells. And I believe they're calcium carbonate, and I believe sometimes they do get transformed into aragonite. The shells are very distinctly not the shells are very distinctly the original shells. There are areas where they're distinctly not the original shells, and you can see where it's come away. So there's this infill, in this case iron pyrite, is very much not the original shell. And you do get preservation in calcite as well on the infills, and also you might have seen some of them like that grandma, where the infill is more sediment and it's just kind of like sandy material, and sometimes you see that in some of the stuff on the south coast too. So if you've seen Matt Paulson's videos, they always talk about whether things are calcite or sort of sandy infills when it comes to some of those down there that they're trying to figure out if they're polish up or not, because obviously that doesn't polish, whereas sort of calcite infills, the stuff that goes shiny, might do. But no, it is the original shell. You sometimes see also that sort of iridescence, and that's just the layers of the shell, similar to the nacreous colors that you get on modern shells. So if you think about mother of pearl, actual pearls, the oysters, so mussel shells that all have that sort of shine to them when you turn them around, especially when they're very fresh. Same sort of stuff. And so yeah, it's all the same original shell, but unfortunately some of the original layers do come off. Hildies usually have multiple layers, and in fact a lot of the ammonites have multiple layers, and you can often pop off like one outside layer and know that there's another layer on the inside. So it's just how they're made up of different shell layers. But yeah, hope that makes sense. But yeah, you'd have to do a quick Google to find out if ammonites are made up of calcium carbonate originally or aragonite as their default, and I don't know which way around it is, because different species and different like groups of shelled organisms have a preference for one or other, which then has implications for how they handle acidification events and that sort of joy when it comes to extinctions. I can just about show you where we're at. We're not quite done, but we're pretty close. So yeah, not perfect by any stretch, but it's cleaned most of the way around. There's a really sticky bit right here, so it's a bit ugly. This is where the beeswax will cover up any sins, and then yeah, we're getting right up to the tip here, which is where I'd expect it to actually sort of curve out to it. So that's what we just tidy up now, and then yeah, need to decide whether or not I'm going to bother on the second side or just smooth the lot down. We have to be careful because if I smooth too much, we'll then hit the other side of the shell, and then it's really not done well. So yeah, I might just do a quick grind down on that, and that solves all the problems. We'll see. So yeah, just this little bit here to do, and then have a look at tidying this away. Sorry, attacked by a small cute child again, just in the middle of doing the fine details, and he's coming to say hello. He had a good time swimming, I'm told. Yeah, I may not get, as I said, this side done today. I may have to just wait whilst I deal with family fun, and actual fun, rather than euphemistic troubles said as fun. But yeah, I'll see if I can get this little bit here done, and then I can show you where we're up to, and then figure out over the next weekend or a bit where we're going to be. Yeah, alrighty. So that's where I think I'll have to stop it for today. So we got all the way down to the mouth border. You can see it's got that lovely sort of pointed shape that goes around and then comes forward and then back. So this just needs to tidy up when we next come to it. Got most of the groove cleaned out all the way. It's not 100% perfect, but it's not too shabby. It'll look a lot better when it's got some beeswax on it, and yeah, all the way down to near enough a middle. So it's pretty good, minus the ding missing here and a little divot there. But yeah, it's not bad. It needs a grinding out of mouth proper and needs a decision about what I'm doing with second half of this keel. But yeah, not a bad little one for today. Happy times with my family are calling, so that's what I'm going to go do instead. So apologies if you're just arriving or wanting to see some more. I'm off to go do some fun things with the fam. I'm not sure when I'll be about next week. I am planning to be out fossil hunting Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but that may change. I will have to have a look in a second. Sure. I can't say I've seen the channel. I'll have a look, and in the next video or the next stream, happily we'll talk about it. There's always an interesting challenge with a lot of people's streams, whether they are doing the animations themselves or nowadays doing a lot of AI stuff, and so AI stuff actually is hilariously rubbish at fossils. So I'll have a look, see, and we can have a chat next stream. But as I say, I don't know when that next stream will be, because yeah, I'll be out at least 3 times next week, and so hopefully I will have some actual videos to show you of us fossil hunting and finding some more bits. Because I don't have any tours until mid-June, so we've got a little bit of time, and so plan to make the most of it and plan to do some fossil hunting and add some more fossils to the collection, hopefully. And thank you all for watching. I'm glad you could be here. Be safe, and we'll catch you in the next one.